Welcome to the desert of the real.
Whatever. And also another aside, I just wanted to say something about the show, Asar show, that I found interesting. Wesley Muhammad was on there, and he was talking about how he doesn't require, he said when he reads a book, what he requires from the book is a bibliography. No, he says actually it's more than a bibliography. He said if it's just a bibliography, that's not good enough. He requires footnotes so he can get the direct sources of where the information is coming from. So I couldn't get an opportunity to ask him this question, but I asked him in the chat room, where are the bibliography and footnotes for A Message to the Black Man?
Right.
I mean, I think that that's a valid question, because you can't say, well, it's not a scholarship book. Well, let's look at this. When it comes to scholarship, you require empirical data, footnotes, bibliography, and the whole 9 yards. But when it comes to something that you base your spiritual foundation on, it requires absolutely nothing. So then why can't I just make a book called Mr. Holipsism's Take on Reality and tell everybody that I was brought here by, I'm the living manifestation of Allah. I'm Allah in the personage. And why can't that be accepted?
Exactly.
If I get somebody that believes that, and I can say it strongly enough, or and they say, "Damn, he really believes that shit," and they start believing it too, what's the problem?
And you're exactly right. And what Holipsi just said is that on Brotha Asar Imhotep, peace to Asar Imhotep, on his show, he had Wesley Muhammad, a lot of people, they were talking about scholarship. Street scholarship versus, I guess, scholastic scholarship. And Wesley Muhammad was speaking about what he would require in terms of what he would see as credible sources. And he said you have to have a bibliography, and more than that, you need to have footnotes. So Holip was saying, how come the Message to the Black Man didn't have all that? How come Theology of Time didn't have all that? How come Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, they didn't have any PhDs? But these are the people that you look to, and you're still walking around being the clone of them.
Right.
Why is that?
When did the poor righteous teacher require to be from Harvard? Now he got to be from Harvard now? I mean, did they update the lessons?
No, what happened was some dude got a degree, and he felt proud of his degree, and he felt like everybody had to, everyone has to bow down to his westernized, white supremacist scholarship. Let me tell you something. When you got them degrees, the degree is what keeps you at a certain temperature. And so you can't go above or below that degree. So all them degrees don't mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? And the people that you are looking to that were the leaders of your organization, they don't have those degrees.
Right.
So why don't you question them?
Right. And my thing, and that's the major disconnect that I have a problem with. And what I call it is that reverend shit. And this is no disrespect to anybody. I got love for Wesley Muhammad and all my brothers and sisters. I ain't got no hate for them. But let's call people when they start tap dancing and bullshitting. And that's a bullshit, response to me. I mean, you require all this empirical data from supposed, and then you make this disconnect between real scholarship and fantasy land. So you're basically saying that the what you require from the real information is real sources, but when it comes to the fantasy stuff, anything goes. Well, I'm getting ready to write that book. Some Nubian said that they would buy it, so I'm going to start writing that book. Mr. Holipsism's Take on Reality, brought to you by the Honorable Mr. Holipsism.
There you go, and it's just as valid as I was looking at Eckhart Tolle. Was it A New Earth or something like that? He has no credentials at all. He has no PhD. He don't even have a school that he said he went to. This man was on Oprah Winfrey. This man sold millions of copies, and that book is looked at as people are saying, I'm taking the truth from that book.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear about no goddamn degree. If you choose to get a degree, that's your choice. I say, but if you're going to look up to me and become some intellectual snob or try to practice some snobbery based on your degree, you are a fool, because your degree is in a white supremacist framework.
Right.
It's everything you are learning in that degree is that you don't got no. If you look at all of your syllabus in your school, you don't have any African scholars there. None.
Right.
So I sort of look at your degree. When I look at Wesley Muhammad, like I said, you know what I mean. I spoke to the brother, but when I look at him, I just see that bourgeoisie vibe that our people that's in the trenches, in the real, we reject that type of vibe. Malcolm X didn't have that kind of vibe. Even Louis Farrakhan didn't have that kind of bourgeoisie. I'm in the cafe with my legs crossed, drinking a latte, talking about the revolution. Come on, man. Get up out of here with that.
Nah, see, we got to have some holistic thinking in this thing, man. And one of the things that bothers me is like these disconnects that we make with reality, and that really just struck me as a major disconnect. Because I don't have a problem. I'm not saying that I have a problem with what he's saying, because I really wish that we required that amount of evidence in order for us to believe something. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's right and exact when he says that not only did he need the bibliography, he needs the footnotes. Amen, brother. But why don't you apply that to the books that you are basing your spiritual foundation on, that you are teaching to the people and trying to get the people to be a part of?
Right.
Why isn't that a subject to the same amount of intense scrutiny as you do with what you consider real scholarship? Because really that's a disrespect to the people that you that put forth the religion and the philosophy that you expound on.